In a world with only hot takes,
Two college friends try to cool down sports media.
join Jack and Jared every week as they tackle the biggest stories in the NFL.
And give the reasonable football analysis you won't hear anywhere else.
Welcome to 710 Sports.
Welcome back to the 14th episode of 710 Sports with
Jack
and Jared. Thanks for joining us after week 6 of the NFL season. Wow, what a odd and wild week it really was, wasn't it, Jack?
Yeah, it was. Sorry that intro was just kind of banging right there.
It's always
banging
banging
in my ears.
Shout out to James,
James,
for an absolutely banging intro, as Jack said.
Yeah, sorry, I was reeling to that and all. My volume was a bit high. Yeah, I mean takeaways. It just. I don't know. It just seems like chaos, seems like a lot of stuff, a lot of, not sure what to make of the rankings and that sort of thing. I said it last week and I'm going to say it again this week. I'm glad that I don't have to do a Jack P's pin setters this week. Don't have to do a tier list this week. Cause I feel like there's some things I can know pretty sure, right? The top 3 teams I think are pretty clear. Top 3 most people have, but outside of that, and outside of maybe the bottom couple teams, it feels hard. It feels hard to do a lot of rankings.
Yeah, it feels like the good teams are bad and the bad teams are good. When you've got the New York teams are combining for something
New York
like
football, yeah,
14-2 records or something, or 14-3 records, it's kind of concerning. Very confusing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Hey, Jets are actually. I mean, the Jets are probably still second in the AFC East because the Bills are probably like 5-1 or whatever the Bills are.
But they're one of the few teams in the AFC with a 4-2 record. I believe they're like ranked.
Yeah, I think they have
of the AFC.
Yeah, I think they have the 5th seed. I mean, as if the playoffs were today, because they're the top wild card.
Right.
I believe.
So, pretty wild.
Yeah.
But, what are we talking about today? Basically, we're going to go through strikes and splits for week 6. We're bringing back Schoolyard Pick, everyone's favorite.
Oh, yeah.
This Schoolyard Pick, we're actually picking the most disappointing players of the season so far.
The first overall pick on this will be very, very highly contested, I think.
Yeah, so
but yeah.
Very, very interesting. We're going to do a look ahead into week 7 with some of the big matchups. This week had a ton of really, really big head-to-head games. Next week, I'll be honest, not so much, but hopefully there's some good games. And then obviously we will
Some middle of the season filler.
Yeah, exactly. And then we'll end with the stats question, but we'll just get right into it. And start with a strike. And I'm sure, Jack, you'll have plenty to say about this one.
Yeah.
But we got Patriots get a win and improve to 3-3 on the year. Now back to 500 and look to be possibly in mid-season form.
Yeah. Big strike, I would say here. I mean, the Patriots, and they have a couple more what should be freebies on the schedule. They were always going to have a hard first couple games and then kind of like that a nice middle of the season 5, 6, 7 game stretch against teams like the Bears and the Browns and all that. I think one thing, because there's a lot of talk, especially kind of being from the New England area, listening to the New England sports radio, all that good stuff. All that. So I know that there's a lot of talk about the Bailey Zappi, Mac Jones sort of stuff. And I guess I'd just say, I think that the coach, like this, like the coaching, right? The fact that Bill Belichick has somehow done it again, right? Even the fact that they won these are real El Cheapo sort of teams, right? That the Browns and the Lions and whatever, but still, the fact that he's gotten the offense is rolling with a 3rd string rookie quarterback, and they're putting up 38. Was it against them? And not like the other games where they had like defensive scoring. This was like 37, 38 offensive points against the Browns, right? A team that's not like an absolutely terrible team. I mean, they're not good. and they're the Browns, but so coaching's a big question. But like, hey, they're putting up points. They're putting up points. And I think in terms of the quarterback stuff, I personally am still gonna say, I mean, this next week I think Bailey Zappi should start because I don't think Mac will be fully healthy, but I mean, unless he is, but I would still say to ride with Mac. Bailey Zappi's doing really well, but like, I mean, I think he should have a like a game count, right? If Mac has, even after everything, he has one or two bad games, I like one or two more. I think you have to start like you bench him and you put in Zappi right at the point they are, but in the first couple weeks of the season, they were having Mac, and maybe it was Mac, maybe it was something else, but they were having Mac gunsling it, right? Right. Mac had I think it was like the deepest depth of target in the league or something, like by far. I mean, not by far, but they were having him sling it, and I'm assuming it was a having him thing. My biggest problem with Mac is not his play in those first couple weeks; it's all the buzz right now about conflicts with the staff. That he was really upset, I think, that Josh McDaniels left, and I think he was one of the players that might have been more vocal about not liking the offensive changes, which, as it turns out, have been working.
You mean not liking two
decently.
Defensive coaches running the offense? Mac was upset about that?
Hey, yeah, he was, and frankly, I would say justifiably, but it's working now, and Zappi's making it work. And obviously, yes, they probably asked him to do different things, but if Mac, I 100% think as soon as he's healthy, put Mac in. But once he kind of falters, if he's kind of not doing things, the Belichick way, if he's not playing as well, then I mean, at a point then I say definitely put it with how young they both are. I think definitely put in Zappi, but I still think Mac. I still have more faith. There's a reason Mac was a first-round pick and Zappi was a fourth-round pick. I don't know what the reason is. Right? I'm not a college football analyst. But there's some right, and we can't just all point to Tom Brady and say, "Oh, this dude was picked in the 6th round." That means that means picks don't matter. Like, I don't know.
No, I mean,
I don't. Any thoughts? Any thoughts
shocked.
on that? On
I'm pretty
Patriots
shocked.
rant?
I think that's a pretty spicy take. I have my own thoughts on the Patriots, but I have to kind of bookend them for a second because your suggestion that if Mac comes in and plays a couple of bad games, they should run with Zappi. I mean, I don't know. You got to remember, Mac Jones was the best rookie.
I mean, couple. It could be like 3, right?
Of the 2021 draft. He outplayed Lawrence, Fields, Wilson, even Davis Mills. It just seems a little bit. I don't know. It seems a little bit early to be calling.
I don't think think it's 1 or 2, but I think it's
3.
3. I mean, it depends. It depends. I mean, frankly, it depends how bad those games are.
Yeah, no, I know.
I mean, it depends on the game quality. But after a couple, they're both rookies, right? It's not, and at a point, it's like, I don't know.
Mac's not a rookie.
What I mean. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it's more what I mean is if they put Mac in, because he should get to play at least 1 or 2 of these freebie. There's enough freebie games here. He should get to play at least 1 or 2 of them. If they put him into 1 or 2 and they ask him to do what Zappi was doing and he can't, then because he should be doing everything Zappi's been doing, Mac was doing all of last season. But Mac was doing last season. But if Mac comes in and he can't even in this new scheme, mental whatever it is, he can't even do what Zappi's been doing. Now that kind of it seems like the team is clicking more, the offense is clicking more, the defense is the run game. Like if they go in and the coaching staff tells Mac go keep gunslinging and he sucks, then no. But I think from a coaching standpoint, if you're Bill Belichick and you tell Mac do what Zappi was just doing those 3 games, and he tries and he can't, then I don't know. Mac hasn't earned his spot.
I hear you. Maybe he hasn't. I would think maybe at this point he has, but we'll agree to disagree on this.
We're getting bogged down on this. Yeah, that's an episode worth there.
I would like to point out. I want to say 2 things. First of all, I'm going to preface this with the Browns are a pretty decent team. Now you say, okay, this is an easier game. Yeah, they're 2-4. They don't have their starting quarterback. But Brissett's played well. Their defense has played
The
decently.
running game has been good.
The run game is really good, and that's what I want to highlight. The Patriots really stopped Chubb and Kareem Hunt in this game impressively. Their secondary played well, but all that to say, it was a lot closer than the score suggests. This was, in fact, a 9-point game with I think 6 minutes left, and the Browns had the ball at that point. Or no, they had the ball. They scored. They went for the onside kick, and the New England basically gave them an onside kick. This was a completely blown onside kick. I'm not sure if you saw this, but that was a split in and of itself. And it just like basically the only reason that the Browns didn't get it was because there was a Browns guy who was making the recovery at near the out of bounds, and another Browns guy came in and tried to make the recovery while being out of bounds, which was illegal. So, and it's 9 points, so I wasn't really that concerned.
No,
but it was closer.
Yeah, that's a good point. Exactly.
It was closer. And then after that, in 6 minutes, the Patriots scored 2 TDs. Like the Browns gave up like a TD really quickly. Then
mentally devastating. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they like turned the ball over again in the 5 minutes and gave up another TD. So 38 points.
I think that's true.
You know, but anyway, to move on to this split, we had
7-10 split.
Yeah, we had 49ers lose somehow to the Falcons convincingly, 28-14. So that was a little bit odd.
Light and a 7-10 split.
Any thoughts on this split in this game?
I mean,
Light and a 7-10 split.
I deserve to.
Yeah, no. I didn't watch too many of the games live on Sunday because I was busy. So a lot of what I saw was more scoreline stuff. But I mean, I heard that there were a lot of injuries for the 49ers. I think even with that, I was thinking the Falcons would be like dumpster tier. But hey, they're 3-3, and they've some of these games they've been playing close, right? They lost, I think, to the Rams, but they played that. Did they? But they played it close anyway, whatever it was.
Yeah.
The game to the Bucks just the week before, they played that game close. That was a game with the controversial roughing the passer call that turned a third down into a first down. What would have been fourth down into a first down, and then the Falcons get the ball back 2-minute drill time. I'm surprised by the Falcons, but like there's easily a world where the Falcons are 4-2, or potentially some of these close games potentially 5-1, right? Which would be very strange to say.
Right.
But still, I really would have expected the 49ers to win this, even despite injury.
Yeah, Falcons are playing above their, talent and pay grade right now. But for the 49ers, I mean, it really comes down to Jimmy G threw a couple of bad picks, and, Mariota didn't. And that's really,
Yeah.
He had a couple of TDs. I think he had
296 passing yards. Garoppolo had 296 passing yards to Mariota's 121.
Yeah, and I mean,
Mariota had 50 yards rushing. Apparently,
Bosa was out. Bosa was not playing, and they're hurt all over the place on defense. But this seems to be a running issue. I feel like for the last 5 years, 49ers have had serious injury problems, and I don't know. I don't know how to address that, but
they still get they still get into the playoffs. But
they limp in. So, okay. So next 7-10 strike, we have, this is the big
strike for you
game
here as well.
Yeah, this is a big game of the week. The Bills beat Kansas City 24-20. And it was a big regular season strike for the Bills. It's funny. I actually had somebody send me, I don't keep tabs on this stuff, but I had a friend send me an audio clip of me saying from last week's podcast, hey, with these defenses, they might actually not score a ton of points. The game could be 24-20. I didn't say that the Bills were going to win. In fact, I was leaning Kansas City the entire week. So, but I did predict that it was going to be that score. So that's what you get here with 710 Sports. Fun game. What did you think of it, Jack? Did you see any of it? Or?
I thought both. I did see more of this one. Yeah, I thought both teams looked very good, basically. But I mean, I think I felt like this one. I did take a note or two here. I gotta find it. There was that missed tripping call. That's right. I remember seeing that. There was a missed tripping call where that was kind of the Bills ended up winning anyway. But I remember watching that and then thinking that was odd. Other than that, it was just a good game. You know, I don't really have too much to say. I guess it was just a very competitive game. I like games like this. They're very competitive. I think, did one of the teams get an early lead, then the other one kind of scored back again? I forget.
It was kind of back and forth most of the game.
Yeah.
I think that Buffalo was leading for a while, and then Kansas City came back.
It was. Yeah, each team had 10 points no points first quarter, 10 points second quarter, 7 points third quarter. Like that was the same for both teams.
And there was a point where I think that it was 10-7 with 15 seconds left, and Buffalo kicked off to Kansas City, and they gave up a field goal again.
I remember that. That was pretty humorous to watch.
I messaged you about that because we had this joke about prevent defense, which is
prevent winning defense.
Yeah, as in for the defense that's playing.
As in exactly. As in if you play prevent winning, you are preventing yourself from winning. Yeah.
And I just don't get it because you can hold Kansas City to 7 points for the entire first half. And then there's 15 seconds left, and that defense gives up a field goal. And so it makes you wonder.
It ain't easy. Why didn't you do that every drive?
Exactly. If Kansas City could do that every drive, they would, except it's not Kansas City. It's Buffalo doing this. We're going to send everybody back 20, 30 yards, and we're not going to give up a TD, but we will give up the tie at half because we're going to give up a field goal.
That's that Matt Patricia bend don't break defense.
Oh, my God. So that's just odd to me, but that seems to be just a football NFL thing right now. But we'll move on to.
Let's move on. Are we doing both of these splits? Oh wait, we got 3 more splits. Oh, look at
we have so many splits. We have lots of splits.
I think.
Yeah, we're gonna go with Packers.
Yes, definitely
lose to. Packers lose to the Jets. My media is struggling right now.
This game. Ooh. I mean, I didn't watch it, but I mean, 20 Packers at 27-10. The Jets are looking half decent, and by half decent, I mean, I might be like compared to average for them, but they're 4-2, right? They're playing well. The Packers have lost to the Giants last week, Jets this week. I think easily could have lost to the Patriots in that kind of fiesta game. I mean, the Packers do not look good. Having watched a lot of that Pats Packers game, and the fact that they've lost the next 2 weeks really does not instill much confidence for me, kind of in that team and in Aaron Rodgers as well. Frankly,
I'd be incredibly nervous if I was a Packers fan because my analysis of this game is that the Jets were not playing very good. Truthfully, this game was 3-3 at half. And the only thing that the Jets were doing really well was pressuring Rodgers. Now you say, okay, well, that's a pretty big thing, sure. Yeah. But Wilson, his stat line may look pretty decent. I watched him throw 3 interceptions that were dropped in this game. I watched him throw make some terrible decisions that, for whatever reason, it just did not come to fruition. Yeah, he didn't. He paid. He paid very little for his mistakes. And it ended up being, enough to put the Jets over top. And so it's just shocking because the Jets like I said, the Jets were not impressive except on the defensive line. Sauce Gardner is playing really good.
Yes.
So that's another thing. So the defense is pretty stout.
Yeah. There's some nice stuff there, but I agree.
I mean, the Packers got to do something on defense to stop. How about catch the interceptions that are thrown into triple coverage and then you have your hands
Jared,
up.
if they could catch, there'd be wide receivers, not cornerbacks. You can't expect cornerbacks, huh? You cannot blame the quarterback for making a bad throw unless it's intercepted.
Yeah, well, you know what? You're right, Wilson.
That's what I think. Hot take.
He's elite. He's elite. I don't know what else to say.
He's elite, right? Yeah. He won, right? Winning makes him elite.
Okay, strike. So we got another strike here. Eagles remain undefeated and beat the Cowboys. Eagles are now 6-0. So
NFC Beast.
26-17 on Sunday Night Football. The Eagles kind of controlled the game the entire time. Cowboys made a little push in the late third, early fourth quarter.
Pretty close game, I would say.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the game?
Thoughts? I have no thoughts. No, I mean,
you have no thoughts. That's good because I have plenty. If you want me to,
no. I've got a lot fewer thoughts than you. The one piece of thought I'll add, and I'm sure you'll talk about this. Any Cooper Rush, the whole Cooper Rush undefeated as a starter kind of meme gets to die, right? He was 18 for 38, 181 yards, a touchdown, and 3 interceptions. I think it was a close game, which I think bodes well. Oh, actually, Eagles scored 20 points in the second quarter. I forgot about that. But generally, the Cowboys defense still looked okay. I mean, not as good in this game as in other games, but I mean, I want to give you the floor on this one.
Yeah. Okay. So I got some pretty good analysis here. I'm going to say you already hit on the first thing I'll say, which is just ridiculous. But yeah, the Cooper Rush thing, it's over. All right. People take your Cooper Rush jerseys, take them home. This guy did exactly what he's been doing for 4 weeks. He's been doing just enough. He hasn't been stellar. He hasn't been fantastic. He's been decent to good. Except this week he was decent. Yeah, he did his job. This week he was decent to good and bad. He was still the exact same he was, except now he threw 3 picks. He made some bad decisions. And against a pretty good Philadelphia secondary. And so we're just gonna table that. Other thing, people are gonna say, Jared, why are you not killing Mike McCarthy for his clock management, game management stuff again? I am fully aware of this. I'm fully aware that I texted Jack when this happened.
We talk about this every other episode, you know?
Yeah, first quarter, CeeDee Lamb reaches out, gets the first down on third down. He gets it. The refs bring it back like half a yard and says he doesn't have the first down. Before a replay is even shown, the Cowboys offense hurries up. They don't slow down to wait for the replay. They hurry up. And then they go for it on 4th and 1 and they don't get it. And
was that the Cooper Rush bootleg?
Yeah, it was 4th and 1.
They have 4th and 1, they have a bootleg out.
And Cooper Rush is bootlegging on 4th and 1.
Oh jeez!
I can't. The sequence of events. Now you're going to say, but why aren't you? Now I am talking about it. I got to do it. I didn't want to talk about it, but we are fully aware that Mike McCarthy is an idiot. We're fully aware of this, but that's not the story from last night because we already knew this. We knew this is going to continue to happen. Yeah. This is going to happen over and over again
until Jerry fires him and replaces him with someone identical.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I'm frustrated too, but that's not the story. The story is that the actual star of this team, Micah Parsons, was mostly neutralized for the first time in his career. I mean, they were showing it. Collinsworth was breaking it down because it was really unbelievable to not block. They were not blocking Parsons, and they were just killing the defense with the read option. Basically, Jalen Hurts was standing there and deciding whether he was going to give it to the running back, throw the ball, or run himself. And it's basically the triple read option. It's the run, pass read option. And Micah Parsons is standing there not being blocked off the edge. And they're just playing around him. Yeah. They didn't have an adjustment. He's reading Micah Parsons or whoever was on the edge. Sometimes it was Armstrong. Sometimes it was Lawrence. But most often it was Micah Parsons. They were simply reading Micah Parsons and neutralizing him. And I don't know if there was another time that I can think of when that's happened in the last year and a half since Micah Parsons has come to the team. Mm-hmm. I mean, they only scored 26 because the defense got better in the second half. They did slightly better against Jalen Hurts. But that's what's concerning to me as a Cowboys fan because I already know that Mike McCarthy is going to butcher some of these things. And that's why there is like a ceiling. right?
Yeah,
Because
and we know it's Cooper Rush. He's a backup, right? Those sorts of we don't need to dwell too long on that sort of stuff. But yeah,
exactly. But
that's I think it's a good point.
if the Eagles and other teams can exploit,
So, yeah,
the way
especially
that our
teams with mobile quarterbacks like the Chiefs, the Bills. I mean, the Eagles, obviously, the Ravens. If they ever have to play the Ravens,
I mean, it's
yeah.
in terms of the NFC. You look at it right now, and you say, well, Dallas probably has a pretty good chance to get into the playoffs, but between the Giants and the Eagles in division.
Wait a second. They have to play Danny Dimes again, and what if Dayball's like, the Eagles were really doing this like not that I necessarily think Danny Dimes will do it as well as Jalen Hurts, but hey, have Danny Dimes run a little, right? Just like try to scheme away from Parsons.
He can, and then next thing you know,
it could just be interesting.
Can Cowboys get in third in the NFC East, like into the playoffs? I don't know. I'm not sure.
Probably.
So it's hard. It's just a ridiculous thing to imagine, but So those are my thoughts on the game. We're gonna finish off with a couple of splits here. The first one being Bucks. Bucks lose to the Steelers 18-20. What an odd game.
What an odd game. Brady does not go to the Saturday practice or whatever before the game because he attended Robert Kraft's wedding. Yeah.
Yep.
I saw that, heard that on the radio. They were talking about that. I mean, yeah, he.
Did you see Robert Kraft? He married like a 40-year-old woman.
She's like 50.
Is she like 50?
I think she's 47. I think she's 47. She just looks really young. She just looks very like I'll be honest, she she looks very young, but she is 47.
Yeah, well, I'm sure she gives excellent massages.
Yeah.
That sort of like has to be a guarantee for Kraft. I think that's what he was looking for.
She's a doctor. I think she's some sort of doctor. She knows the human body. But that's enough on that. That's enough on that, Jared. But yeah, canceled. Bucks don't. I've been, like I said the other weeks, I'm kind of cold on the Bucks, right? I said it last week as well, even though they beat the Falcons. Not super warm on them. I even said it when I was doing the power rankings whenever the pin setters earlier. I put them there, but I didn't even really want to put them that high. I'm kind of cold on the Bucks. I don't know what thoughts on that.
Yeah, the Bucks just don't look good. The Steelers, this is the type of Steelers team that I thought we were going to get, and we have not really gotten this far into the season where it's like a super gritty team. They do just enough on offense. Their defense is really, really good. I don't know if their defense is actually really, really good. I think the Bucks O-line seems to be really bad. But, besides that, Brady didn't seem to play that bad. The receivers played pretty good. It was just overall, Jack, the game was just weird. I mean, just to start, for some reason, this is in Pittsburgh, right? I saw this on the highlights. I've never seen this before in my life. There was literally 30 pigeons on the field. Now, imagine you see, like, I don't remember who was, but like Steelers on offense, Bucks on defense, right? They're lined up and in the shot, like up on the numbers. On the field, there are pigeons, like somebody threw a bag of feed on the field and there's just 30 pigeons and they're snapping the ball and the pigeons are hanging out. And I just don't get it. What is going on in Pittsburgh?
Is that, can you get fined for that, for leaving? I gotta tell Bill about this. Bill would start leaving out bird feed on the field so that birds can have the players practice with it so that they're ready for it, but the other team isn't.
Yeah, it felt like something like that. I don't know if Tomlin's throwing like little breadcrumbs out on the field. It's because it's 1-4 and he needs to protect his never losing season. Whatever is happening, I was like, I can't believe I'm watching some like plays and there's more pigeons in the shot than players. So it just things like that just kept happening. Yes, the Bucks offense was struggling, but like there was just a bunch of the big plays were just really odd. The Steelers had a kick return, basically. He took it like out of the end zone, and this must be the slowest kick returner I've ever seen because he gets a wide open window. He gets like through and past everybody, and then two Bucks guys chase him down. This is the Steelers They just like he just like
Wow.
looked like he slowed down. He looked like me or you out there.
He's tired.
He
gets
sprinted
tired.
like he
Okay.
sprinted 50, 60 yards and he had no gas in the tank. That was weird. Pickett gets hurt on this play where he gets basically blown up. He gets hit high, falls on his back, but he throws this like ridiculous ball into the air, like just like vertically. It goes like 20 yards down the field and it drops directly into Deontay Johnson's hands. I'm not even kidding. Like for some reason, Deontay Johnson like saw the moon ball, was like, that's for me. Like Major Tom.
That
you
was
know
a
what I mean?
punt.
Yeah, exactly. And he just caught it.
It's like it was a punt.
Pickett goes out, but the play is made. And then Trubisky comes in and just
9 for 12, 144 yards and a touchdown.
Exactly. Excellent.
Where was that?
Where was that for like 4 weeks when he was starting? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey.
The only other thing I have to say about this game, which was also weird, you got to look at this. Brady's known for the QB sneak. You got to watch this highlight. I think it was 3rd or 4th and 1. He QB sneaks, and I swear to God, it was like we were playing Madden, Jack. He was like standing up. Here was the pile. He was standing up, like chugging, like running against the pile, not moving. He was just running. This like, you know, he's like a big kind of lanky guy, and he's just like not moving at all. And you could see his legs like up and down going, and he's just up against the pile, not moving at all. Did not get the first down.
That's EA was psyched about that one. That you can no longer look at Madden and say, hey, that's unrealistic, right? Because if it's anything, it makes it realistic.
Yeah, 100%. So anyway, that's it was just a split of a game. Shout out to the Steelers though, getting a win. And last split, figure we kind of talk about this in general, but it seems like the Panthers fire sale has begun.
Oh yeah,
Robbie Anderson
gone.
He gets kicked off the sideline mid game, probably because he's wondering, can somebody get me the goddamn ball? Will someone throw the ball, you know, further than 5 yards down the field? Please?
Who's the quarterback on that team? Right, it's not even Baker. Right,
I know.
Like, they're wishing it was Baker.
Think about Robbie Anderson. Dude was playing for the Jets with Sam Darnold. He gets moved to the Panthers.
And then Sam Darnold follows him.
Sam comes back, and then he's got to play with Baker, and oh my god!
And then he's like, "Oh great, we're gonna trade for some good quarterback." Boom, baked, and he gets baked. There's a lot of Christian McCaffrey buzz. The Panthers, I think, were saying that they need multiple first-round picks for him or something. Which means he's not like if it's that much, that's not happening.
Bogus. They're gonna give him up for like a 3rd round pick.
I think they're gonna trade DJ Moore at some point. I'd imagine. I've seen like a bit of things about that. Potentially the Chief or the Chiefs, some team potentially trying to trade for him. Yeah, if you're the Panthers, it makes sense.
They gave up Robbie Anderson for a 6th and 7th round pick. You're really going to tell me that they're gonna say we need 2 first rounders for Christian McCaffrey? They might not trade him at all. Like they might just say we're not going to trade him, but we'll say if you want to give us 8 first round picks, we won't say no. Like if that might be the mentality. But I don't know.
I agree. Yeah,
if they're really having a fire sale, Christian McCaffrey will be in Buffalo for a 3rd round pick next week. I mean, if this is what's really going to happen, if they're going to trade Moore as well,
spicy.
What is Moore going to go for? A 4th round pick? I mean, what do we? You know what I mean? It's a mess.
I don't want to think about the Panthers. Let's move on. Let's move on to the schoolyard pick section.
Hell yeah, let's do it. Yeah, schoolyard pick. We're going to do most disappointing players of the season thus far. Basically, we're each drafting a 3v3 team. We're going to alternate. Jack's getting the first pick this schoolyard pick. I'm not sure why.
That is mighty kind.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give it to him because I don't think he's going to pick the guy that I want, but I could be wrong. We're going to see.
Oh, if you're going to say that, then probably not.
What do you got, Jack?
Do I try to pick yours then? No, I'm not going to try to pick yours. I'm going to take the easy answer, right? Just like I did with taking Matt Rule as the easy answer for midseason coach fire. I'm gonna take the easy answer, which is Russell Wilson. Right, the giant trade for Russell Wilson, the giant contract for Russell Wilson, and the Broncos offense has just stunk it up, game after game. That game that they just had was winnable. If there wasn't for that weird the Broncos dudes running into each other on the overtime punt, but I think he had 15 yards in the second half in overtime. There's a stat like that out there. I think he had 15 yards in passing in the entire second half and overtime. There was not a single first down in that entire overtime. It was like 7 minutes of overtime, not a single first down for either team. I mean, he's just not been playing well, right? He's just not, and for a player with a lot of expectation on him as well, right? A lot of then that's part of it for me. A lot of expectation.
Yeah, excellent pick there, Jack. I cannot agree more. He's ranked 25th in QBR, 23rd in passer rating, and I believe number 2 overall in salary. So it was an absolute whiff, it seems. I'm going to go ahead and go with a bit of a sleeper pick, but I think is a really good one. You're going to really get a kick out of this. Most disappointing player for me this season so far, J.C. Jackson, actually. We're going to go with J.C. Jackson.
He was on my list. I was thinking you might.
Yeah, so big acquisition for the Chargers. Of course, the Chargers making big swings to try to compete with Kansas City in the AFC West. And for whatever reason, as always, it doesn't seem to be working out. And J.C. Jackson, he was paid $82 million, 5-year contract. And at this point, he's giving up, so far this season, he's giving up 145 passer rating against all quarterbacks.
Sheesh.
145. The max is 160, folks. Okay. So he's basically given up a ton of plays, and he did last night. He gave up to Russell Wilson about 100 yards and a TD.
Yeah, I remember it. Yeah,
and that's
Russell Wilson.
Took
him off the field. As soon as they took him off the field, the Chargers defense, like the Broncos, were getting nothing.
Exactly.
Nothing on
exactly. And that's the thing, that he literally at this point has gotten benched, and he's getting paid $82 million for 5 years. What a disaster!
His ankle, bro. It's his ankle.
I don't. Is he? I don't think he's. He's injured.
There was something at the beginning. I don't think, not really at this point. There was something at the beginning of the season. That's why I think he missed week 1. But I don't think he's really. I don't think he's injured. It just he's playing well.
Right?
There's a lot of talk about like scheme stuff. Like I mean that's the thing. He could be a system cornerback. Like you see this with the Patriots. He goes and immediately the Patriots. Right? Everyone said Patriots just lost their best cornerback. They just lost top 5 cornerback in the league. And all of a sudden, the Pats secondary is still looking pretty spicy. It's been looking pretty spicy since 2017. Obviously, there were years in there. I know I've talked with the Matthew Slater, Julian Edelman in the secondary years back 12 years ago. But like their secondary's been looking pretty good. I think the Pats just have good something Bill puts in the water. So something Bill cooks up defensively makes cornerbacks look good, right? And like Gilmore's looked good before the Patriots. He's looked okay with the Colts, especially the big game against the Broncos. He was making a ton of plays, so he's looking good. But like, I think maybe they saw, hey, Gilmore left. Gilmore still looks good, and then we're like, oh, let's jump on JC Jack. Let's give him a massive contract, and then he was a system cornerback. I mean, obviously season's early, but I think that's a good pick.
All right, what do you got next? My pick for the third overall pick.
Ooh, I got a couple things here. I don't think there's one I want to say. I don't think you're gonna pick it, so I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna go Aaron Rodgers. We're going quarterback heavy here.
Okay.
I've been pretty part of this because I sat down and watched an entire Packers game because they played the Patriots, but and that game went to overtime if I remember correctly. But I mean, he just hasn't looked good. The Packers are just not winning, right? It's like, okay, he lost Devontae, right? Big loss, but the Packers offensively I've just seen him not perform very well. I guess I don't know what else to say. And for a player who, for me, I mean, yeah, like what they put up 10 points against the Jets. They put up 10 points. He threw. Jordan Love came in at a point in that game. He just wasn't getting very much. I don't know. And for a player who if I remember right, I think I had as my top quarterback in the league. So for me, that's kind of disappointing. I had him number 1 and now he's kind of sucking. I don't have a bunch of stats on that, but like right? I had him very high. I thought the Packers will be good, right? Like I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I believe you said something like back-to-back MVP Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, back-to-back MVP, and then he's stinking it up. This, yeah, he lost his best target, but still, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, I think it's an excellent pick. There's lots of quarterbacks to pick from, and for that reason, I'm going to go ahead and pick one before you take them all. And I'm going to go ahead with Matt Ryan. Maybe this is a little bit too,
that's a good pick.
Like, personally disappointing because I had the Colts, being a much better this season. But actually, you know what? They're turning it around, 3-2-1.
Yeah.
Problem is, even though they're 3-2-1, Matt Ryan is looking really bad. I mean, maybe he's doing just enough. And if you look, I think he has the second most pass yards in the league behind Josh Allen, I believe.
He had 58 pass attempts in this past game. I don't think I've seen pass attempts that high.
Oh, yeah. Jonathan Taylor is not playing because he's hurt.
Yeah.
And they're saying, Matt Ryan, you throw 60 times. We don't care.
Yeah.
How old are you? 45? We don't care.
389 yards and 3 touchdowns.
He played better this week, but the thing is that
but you're right. You're
overall, he's looked really bad. He's looked old.
Some
he's
of those
confused.
Yes.
He's not mobile. He's made lots of mistakes. He's thrown really boneheaded interceptions in almost every game that the Colts have played. And somehow they only have 2 losses because they have a tie. And I think they're leading that division now. So because I think the Titans had a bye, they're 3-2, so it's close regardless. And they're right there back in it. So, but regardless, Matt Ryan, disappointing to me because I thought he was going to be. Everyone seemed to hype it up like, man, we were decent with Carson Wentz. Could you imagine us with Matt Ryan? And now I don't know. It hasn't come to fruition.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, I'm gonna take a pick. This is not really personal, but I don't want to pick a quarterback, so I'm gonna take Aiden Hutchinson, number 2 pick in the draft, edge rusher. But really, if I open this up, I mean they had a bye week this week. I mean, he just has not kind of performed. The Lions' defense has been the worst in the league. I believe I have to fact check this, but I'm pretty sure the Lions still, even though they had a bye week this week, have still given up the most points in the league. Like only playing 5 games to 6. Their defense has not been good, and he had there was one half against someone, I think it was Washington, that he had like 3 sacks in the half.
Yep, and
they're insane. But everything else has just not looked super good. A lot of stuff I've read, right, because I'm not watching all these games. A lot of stuff I've read is also that he's not been performing quite as well, and especially, and part is also for being a number 2 pick, right? Right, this isn't like, oh, he's not performing well, but he's a late first-round pick or he's a third-round pick. No, he's the 2nd overall pick. That you had Kayvon Thibodeau, right, available, who's been playing very well for the Giants, and then which might also there's obviously more to this all, but it just for me like for me, I guess I would have wanted more, right? I would have wanted more. Also, because I kind of I had more expectations. That was the kind of thing about him. He was supposed to be like a ready to go package.
Yes.
The Walker guy went to the Jaguars, right? That his whole thing was like, this is a guy like you want to mold this guy. He's got a ton of raw talent. You want to mold him. The things that people are saying about Hutchinson is like this guy's a done deal. Like this guy's like the most NFL ready. Maybe not necessarily not that he's going to be the best of the 3, but he's like the most ready kind of deal. And I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
Not been looking great.
I think it's a good pick. Didn't have him on my list, but you're absolutely right. He has not made a difference on that Lions defense. Really, no one is.
That could be part of the problem, but yeah.
So I'm going to cheat here, and I'm going to say I'm going to take the entirety of the Bengals offensive line. Most specifically, I'm going to take the new additions that they added in free agency: Lyle Collins, Alex Kappa, and Ted Karras at center. All right. These guys, they've been playing a little bit better the last week or two. But the Bengals probably are. I mean, they gave up like 13 sacks in the first 2 weeks.
The first 2 weeks, yeah.
They're 3-3 probably because this offensive line is just letting Burrow get killed for the third year in a row. And
Hey,
even
only
after
3 sacks this game, I think.
Yeah, well,
I think
only 3 sacks.
Hey,
it's like, that's how
we were just
bad.
talking about how bad the Bucks. We were just talking about how bad the Bucks offensive line was, giving up 2 sacks. I think.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
And so
There
this
a lot of hurries.
This I thought I had the Bengals. This is getting worse and worse. I got the Bengals. I picked the Bengals and the Packers to go to the Super Bowl, and that is a 7-10 split. But
did I pick 2 teams?
I think you said you weren't going to pick. We didn't pick on the podcast. I just
was it not?
Looked at. I just looked at my.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
I looked at my breakdown and I was like, I like these teams. I figured it was about time Packers got to the Super Bowl, and I liked the Bengals because I liked what they did on the offensive line, and it's just a mess. What I'll point out is after watching this game, I don't know if the offensive line is actually getting better. I think that the coaching has finally figured out after a month or more, after 5 weeks, that their offensive line sucks. And they have to run shorter routes. I mean, the amount of slants that were run in that game against the Saints, ridiculous. I think 90% of the pass plays were slants. But that's exactly what they need. They don't. Burrow's got to get the ball out in under 2 seconds, or else he's gonna get sacked. And that's what we saw for a month. And so I'm seeing 5-yard square ins. I'm seeing 2-yard square outs, drag routes, slant routes, just like little 5-yard curls, all this stuff, wide receiver screens, tight end screens. Fantastic. That's what we've been talking about. That's what we've been calling for because the offensive line is playing so bad. If the offensive line wasn't so bad and wasn't so disappointing, maybe they wouldn't have to do that, but they are. And now maybe they have a shot at, actually putting something together here mid-season.
So week 7 look ahead here. We got first game we're going to talk about. Yeah, as Jared said, not a lot of super exciting games. First is going to be the Indianapolis Colts versus the Tennessee Titans. Titans are 2.5-point favorites. Any you want to start this one?
Yeah, I'm going to take Titans off the bye. I love Vrabel off the bye. He's a great coach. It's a good coach team. Tannehill's been playing bad this season, but Matt Ryan also has been playing pretty bad. I figure the Colts will regress to the mean and end up 3-1, and Titans will take a commanding 4-2 lead in this division. That's who I got. I'll take Tennessee to cover as well. -2.5. I don't care. I think
yeah. 2.5. I'd say may as well. What is my take? I think the Colts are generating. Looking at that, I know Matt Ryan's not playing well. They've been generating some offense though, but they've been playing so bad earlier. This is one of those things. I want to pick the viewers who turn off their televisions for winning. Not watching this game. No, I'm gonna for the sake of disagreeing, I'm gonna take the Colts because they've been passing a lot. Right, that pass, as you said it yourself, Matt Ryan, a lot of passing yards, and I feel like taking something different. I feel like taking the opposite pick so we have more skin in this. Because for me, I don't have much skin in this game, so I'm gonna take the Colts. I know they had a lot of players. They've at other points had players injured during the season. I'm gonna say maybe they're coming back. I completely not verifying that at all. Could be complete conjecture that I've made up, but I'm taking the Colts.
All right, fair enough. Kansas City Chiefs at San Francisco 49ers at 425. The 49ers are 3-point dogs.
Ooh, I'm gonna take the Chiefs. I know the 49ers are gonna be getting a bunch of players back. That one I do know, but I don't think it's enough. I think the Chiefs are most certainly in that top 3, that top echelon that we were kind of talking about for a bit at the very start of the podcast. They're in the top echelon. 49ers aren't. 49ers just lost to the Falcons convincingly. And the Chiefs barely lost to the Bills, who many might say are the best team in football. So them are the Eagles. I think I think the Chiefs are just better. And if they're only like 3-point favorites, I'll take them with the points, even if it's only 3-point favorites. Yeah.
Yeah, we got a Super Bowl rematch here. Jimmy G versus Patrick Mahomes. Unfortunately, I agree. I don't think this is going to be a close one. I'm going to take Kansas City to cover. They're both coming off big losses, and if Kansas City had beaten the Bills, I might take San Francisco because they might relax a bit after a big win. They lost. Yeah, they're going to want to bounce back. They're going to get locked in, and they're going to definitely take care of San Francisco easily. So yeah.
Last game, Steelers at Dolphins. This is Sunday Night Football. Tua is expected to play for the Dolphins. The Dolphins are 7-point favorites and at home.
Yes.
Thoughts on this, Jared?
Dolphins on a 3-point skid, basically since Tua's injury. They're now 3-3, and Steelers, obviously they're 2-4 and haven't been playing super well. I'm pretty surprised Tua's going to play, based off of what we saw recently. I mean, what is this guy going to? I mean, I hate to say it, but is this guy going to die on the field? I mean, if he's going to, he took a not that major sack and was unconscious. I mean, we had to bring in a goddamn paramedic to talk to us about decortis posturing or whatever the hell. Shout out to Ben. But I mean, we're really going to put Tua out there. I don't know. I think it's going to go poorly. I'll take the Steelers to win straight up. Okay.
To win.
That's
a bold take.
I got Tomlin.
Wait,
I'm with Tomlin.
Wait a second.
TJ Watt, I don't care.
Something.
He might be back. He might not be. I just Dolphins are on the skid, and their first 3 wins a little bit closer than one might think. I mean, they almost lost to the Patriots. Yeah. So I could see them losing.
I would say that, but I don't think you can say almost lost to the Patriots without like spending 20 minutes talking about it, because I don't think because the scoreline was like 21-7, the Pats, whatever. I think that game was a lot closer than it looks, and a lot closer than people said. And I do not. Like, after watching it, I said after watching that, I was still ice cold on them. And I said that. If anything, I was colder on them after watching them beat the Patriots. That all being said, I think I'm still going to take them to win. I'm not going to take them with the points. I think 7 points is a lot, especially with Tua's first game back. But I think, concussion, what does that even mean? What does that mean? Meaningless. Concussion. McSmushin, no, but I mean, I think the Dolphins will just, like, I know their wins were close, but I don't think the Steelers are particularly good, and I think Tua, Tua had looked pretty good the first couple of games, and I guess I'll say that. I'll say it enough to take them to win. I'm not super confident, not super confident saying that, but in all seriousness, I think that they're probably the better team, and if they're gonna play Tua, I have to think he's ready. I can't imagine they do it twice in a row, where they have Tua, right? Surely, right? Maybe I'm just being hopeful.
How sure are you?
see, that's the thing. I might just be being really hopeful, really naive. Maybe I'm. I can be a naive guy sometimes. Maybe that's it. So I think surely they're not going to trot him out when he's not ready. Maybe, surely. Surely, right? But so that being said, that's why I take him to win. But again, 7 points for a team that's lost, like 7-point favorites for a team that's lost the last 3 in a row, and whose starting quarterback will have not played in 3 weeks, however many weeks, right? I gotta go Steelers with the points,
Okay.
And,
reasonable.
Reasonable.
That's reasonable sports analysis.
That you won't hear anywhere else.
Sports. Yeah. All right, so we got the stats question to wrap up this episode. Thanks for sticking with us for this entire episode 14. I think we had plenty of good analysis, but
yeah,
I know
only one for the week, so it's slightly longer.
Slightly
one
longer,
this
and I
week.
think that you guys are really just sticking around for the stats. So, Jack, I mean, do you wanna ask first? You're down 1 right now. I'm up 3-2.
Wait, I gotta do some
I'm
quick
gonna give it to
maths
you
once
to
real quick.
decide if you want to. Do you want to answer or ask first? That's up to you.
Wait, I just gotta do that. Okay, I want to ask first. I like asking first.
Okay.
This is after this past Monday Night Football game. This is a penalty related question. This is a
Excellent.
penalty related
Excellent.
question. The penalties in this past game, this Monday Night Football game, the Broncos Chargers, had the most single team, like the most yards against a single team in a football game this season. That was the Broncos gave up 151 yards. And total, it was also the most total penalty yards in a game this season, where the Broncos gave 151, the Chargers gave up, whereas that's that 89, combining for 240.
Sounds about right.
My question for you, yeah, and that was again, we watched that, and I felt like, looked like, wow, there are a lot of penalties. This looked like a penalty heavy game. This is another question about total yards, total penalty yards since the AFL NFL merger in the 70s, right? 1776. There it is.
Deep.
We're gonna go and I'm gonna give you a range here. You don't have to go exact, so don't get too worried. What was the most total penalty yards? The most total penalty yards that combined for two teams in a game. So for reference, this past one was 240. The most of two teams combined in one game. And I'm gonna say maybe let's give you a buffer, right? And you can help decide the buffer. Do you want like a plus minus 5? Plus minus 10, maybe plus minus. So let's say you think they're 20. Obviously, this is fake. 20 total penalty yards, right? That if you say 10, that counts. If you say 30, that counts.
Yeah, I think like a 10 on both sides buffer is probably pretty fair.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, because obviously, exactly,
it's going to be
especially
high,
with pass interference penalties can make it random. But yeah, that is my question. I can give you the year if you want. It was in 1976. I'm giving you the year.
Okay,
that's
yeah,
the year, 1976.
So I was trying to decide whether how much I thought pass interference.
Oh, if you thought it was a recent one or something.
Yeah. So okay, so this is the most since then. So basically
the most since 1970.
Wow. Okay. Well, so this week we had 240. Could I see a team? I'm trying to think of what it may be in 76 or something. Like there could still have been times where teams weren't even playing with with the right number of guys or something,
with helmets on.
It's in this one game the Bears accrued 2,000 yards of penalty because they were playing with only 10 men because the rest of the men on their roster were working in the mines or some shit. I mean, it was the 70s, so it wasn't that. It wasn't that old. It wasn't or something. Yeah. But yeah, you know what? I mean, with the buffer, I'm gonna say something I feel like it's pretty reasonable to have if one of these teams, if the Broncos had 150, I think it's pretty reasonable for both teams to have 200. So I'm going to say 425 is going to be my guess. 425 total yards, most ever.
425. Is that your final answer?
That's my final answer. Am I right? Tell me I'm right.
You are not right. The most since the AFL NFL merger was 310 yards total.
Okay.
Which is pretty low. I know. It seems pretty low.
Less than I would have thought.
Seems pretty low. I know there was if we were to go back to the most, I think, truly ever, that was 374 yards in a Browns Bears game back in 1951. There was a game with 374 penalties. But
still would have overshot it.
One kind of interesting bonus that when I was looking for this for a penalty related question, I was looking at most penalty yards in one game ever. The most was the Tennessee Titans giving up 212 yards. And the most that even show up on StatMuse, the most recent one that shows up on StatMuse for penalties in one in one game. That was the Dallas Cowboys giving up 166 yards of penalty yards against the Raiders 2 years ago. Not 2 years ago, a year ago. That was a November 25th.
Sounds about right.
We must have watched that. And that was the Thanksgiving game last year. That would have been, I think, it was a November 25th, 2021. I think that would have been the Thanksgiving game last year. They gave up.
Oh, I bet.
Gave up the most recently by a single
If
team.
you didn't tell me in the I thought you were going to ask like what teams have combined for the most. So I was going to say Cowboys and like Giants or something because I was sure it was going to be Cowboys. I mean, just from the last couple of years, just terrible.
Yeah. No, one of the questions I was thinking of doing that question, that Cowboys Raiders question, and asking you the most recent what blah blah blah, like highly penalized game, whatever the question would have been. And what are the two teams? And I would have said, hint, they're both penalty heavy teams. And
I would have definitely guessed
Cowboys.
I would have definitely guessed Cowboys. I wouldn't have got the Raiders, but I would have went with Giants.
Yeah, so your stats question.
All right, so you know what? Yeah, no win there, but I feel like I should have probably went lower on that one, but that's okay. Yeah. So Philadelphia Eagles are 6-0. All right. And so this is the third time that Philadelphia has ever started 6-0. The last time was in 2004 with Donovan McNabb. So the last team to start 6-0 was actually the Arizona Cardinals last year, led by Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury. So they actually started with a 7-0 record before they lost in Week 8. Who did they lose to in Week 8 of last year?
Oh, I know this.
Do you know?
This is a memorable game. Wasn't this the Lions?
Is that your final answer?
Is that my final answer? I know they also beat the no. I'm thinking of the Lions Vikings. The Lions had already beat the Vikings by the time the Lions Cardinals played each other. And I was thinking of the wrong play. I was thinking of that one Lions drive where they beat the Vikings and Goff and MCDC are hugging on the sideline. It's like he's like, yeah. I was thinking that. So yeah, I got mixed up there. Who beat them? I don't think it was.
I have a hint here.
Because the Lions lost too many games.
It was Week 8 on Thursday Night Football.
Ugh. We would have watched this on Amazon.
I can't. Was it on Amazon at that point?
Amazon. Oh, maybe. Oh, you're right. Only some of the games were on Amazon. This one may not have been. God, I don't think I know. I don't think I know this. I don't think it's the Lions because they lost too many games straight. Maybe it was. I'm going to go the Lions, even if I'm mixing the games up. I'm going the Lions. That's my final answer.
And that is close, but no cigar on that one. It's actually the Packers.
That's right. The Jordan Love game. Jordan Love was playing
24-21 on Thursday night.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
So hey, that good question, good answer. Not
good,
quite,
good question.
Not quite enough, But
I remember that. Yeah, I remember Jordan. The fact that the Packers beat that was part of why I was pretty hot on the Packers as well that season because they beat the Cardinals even when Aaron Rodgers had COVID.
Yeah,
because he was immunized.
Interesting statistic. The year before, the last team to lose a game was actually the Pittsburgh Steelers. They went 11-0 in the pandemic year, and their first loss was to the Washington football team, which was super odd at that point. In fact, Washington only won 7 games that season and got into the playoffs at 7-9.
Yes.
They really needed to win against the Steelers there at 11-0.
Yeah, that's right. That season.
Yeah,
wacky stuff.
I think Philadelphia might also go 11-0. I mean, we talked about this last week, but they got to the Cowboys, and now if you look at that schedule,
they've got they got 2 Giants games left. They got the Cowboys again, but other than those 3 games, they play the Packers. But I'm cold on the Packers. Yeah, oof.
They really could be 15-2 realistically.
Yeah. Maybe Cowboys take one, Giants take one. I could Cowboys with Dak maybe take one. Because that would be because this game was in Philly. I could see maybe Cowboys at home with Dak. I could see obviously that's projecting out to I think that's the Christmas game or something. But yeah,
Yeah, good. All right. Well, that
nice.
was
Well, yeah,
good stats question. Excellent podcast as always, Jack.
yeah. Good,
We'll be
good
back.
job there, Jared.
We'll be back next week. Thank you, for listening. This was 710 Sports with
Jack.
and Jared. Tune in next week. I'm sure we'll talk about week 7. It'll be fun. It'll be great. Join us then.
We'll talk about the riveting games.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh.